Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We continue on chapter 9, Reproduction in Animals. Okay, for the lesson outcomes, you must be able to describe the asexual and sexual reproduction in animals. You must discuss the internal and external methods of fertilization and compare the internal and external methods of fertilization. So now we go into the first, asexual and sexual reproduction. There are two modes of animal reproduction, the asexual and sexual reproduction. For asexual reproduction, the genetic material all come from one parent. So it means that the offspring from this organism who did the asexual reproduction will have exactly the same as the DNA from their parent, and the process is not involving the fusion of egg and sperm. For the sexual reproduction, there must be a fusion from sperm and egg. Then they will produce the offspring. So their offspring, the genetic material of their offspring is combined, okay, between the sperm and the egg from two paternal, okay, from father and from the mother, and they are diverse, okay, diverse in genetic material. Okay, so these are the example of the asexual reproduction. We have fission, we have budding, gametes, fragmentation, and regeneration. For alternation of asexual and sexual reproduction, alternation mean in the middle. They have both. They can be asexual, they can be sexual reproduction. So there are three types: parthenogenesis, hermaphroditism, and sequential hermaphroditism. And the last is sexual reproduction, which involves the fusion of the sperm and the egg. So we go into the fission. There are two types of fission: multiple fission. From one parent, they will develop into many offspring. Okay, separation of a parent cell into two or more daughter cells of approximately equal in size. Okay, from one parent produce more than two offspring. So that is called multiple fission. But for binary fission, it start from one parent. Later, it will form only two offspring. So that is the binary fission. From the word binary, it means two. Okay, binary means two. Okay, so this is the example of binary fission: separation of a parent nucleus into half and ones. Okay, the parent nucleus is divided into half, and this has happened only one time. So this will produce two individual, okay, two offspring with identical genetic material, and their size is approximately equal. The example of organism that do the binary fission is amoeba, euglena, and paramecium. Please remember this. Okay, so for multiple fission is when the nucleus of a parent cell, okay, nucleus of a parent cell divides repeatedly and produce many individual simultaneously. The example for organism that do this multiple fission is amoeba. So if you can still remember, in binary fission, amoeba also did the binary fission, and as well with the multiple fission. Now we go into budding. Okay, what is the meaning by budding? Okay, so this is a budding, the extended form from the parental, from the original form, or from the parents. So budding is an outgrowth, push out from the parent cell, and then they pinch off, enlarge into a new cell. So this is the parent cell. So there is a formation of a budding or an outgrowth that extended outward. So this budding we can see, it is visible from the external. We can see from the external. Later, this one will be pinched off. Okay, they will pinch off, and they can grow into a new cell. So the example of organism that do this budding is Hydra species. Now we go into the third is Gammules. Gammules is another type of budding, is it? Okay, actually this is another type of budding. Okay, but it is internal budding. Okay, if you can see, okay, this one is an outgrowth. Okay, meaning that the bud is formed outside of the parent. But for Gammules, it is budding that form inside of the parent. So internal bud found in sponge and are involved in asexual reproduction. It is an asexual reproduced mass of cells that is capable of developing into a new organism, for example into an adult sponge. So this is a yellow tube sponge, species of Aplycina fistularis. Okay, so this is the parent cell. If you can see, this is a small, very small, okay, small part with the flagella attached to it. So this is the budding or the offspring from this parent. Okay, so this offspring later they will develop into new organism, into an adult sponge. So this is also another type of budding, but it is happen internally inside their parent, and we call them as Gammules. Okay, for the last is fragmentation and regeneration. So from the word fragment means from one whole body, they fragmented, okay, separated into certain part, and each of fragmented or segmented area can develop into one complete new organism. Okay, the breaking of the body into several pieces, some or all of which will develop into complete adults. Fragmentation must be accompanied by regeneration. Okay, after they separate, they will regenerate into a new form, a new complete form. Okay, the regrowth of lost body parts. Example of organisms that do this fragmentation and regeneration are sponge, cnidarians, polychaete, annelids, and ctenochates.